YOLO. Ain't worried about no FOMO. Coin market cap out the crash on my lap when the bitch bounce back like a pogo. No fiat dough, I got Divi coin, I got Bitcoin, I got Ether. What y'all know about a pump and dump?
Billy, what's been going on this week with CryptoFizz, bro?
Dude, gangbusters.
Yeah.
I just been cranking out content. Website traffic is off the hook. I was looking at it yesterday. We've 10x'd in the past 30 days. That's why I'm drinking right now. It's not even 5 o'clock.
That's why we now have a jobs page up on our site. Now,
Exactly.
volunteer,
Yeah.
but anybody that's listening, if you're interested in doing marketing or community management, podcast editing, video editing for our future YouTube channel, and graphic design, anything, we need it.
Yes. Yeah, we have a full-time job still, so
Yeah. So
yeah,
you're
man,
in-
staying busy. Wrote a couple of interesting articles about airdrops is one of them. Free
Well,
money.
you've been running the show because I've been traveling for business down to
Yeah.
Florida this past week.
Was it sunny down there?
It was sunny, but it was cold as hell. Everybody's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to Florida, fun." They don't realize that on business trips you work for like 15 hours a day,
Uh-huh.
and it's not fun. I couldn't go to a beach or anything like that. It's called
Exactly.
work.
Yeah. Laptop in the sand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would have been awesome if I could, but whatever. But thankfully for you, you've been running the show. We've had a few guest posts this week. You've been posting the hell out of some stuff. So, yeah. Oh, and on this topic of the 10xing, we're also now, you can find us on LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn page. We're posting articles there. We're on Google Plus. We're trying to hit every damn social media platform we can.
Gary V'd out.
Exactly. So that's some exciting stuff. What?
On that same topic, I mean, if we're not on a platform that we should be, we need to know about it. In the comments, let us know.
Yeah, and trying out new platforms at the same time. So now we're on the Syscoin marketplace. We are the first company to offer on the Syscoin marketplace advertising. So you can actually buy advertising on CryptoFizz with Syscoin now, which is pretty sweet.
Pioneers, baby.
Exactly. So to jump into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, you read an article the other day about airdrops, free money.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys may have seen this in various articles, but so a lot of projects are using airdrops, and basically it's a form of advertising. They're kind of passing out their various tokens on a particular platform that they're built on top of. So basically, it's kind of like what PayPal did way back in like the early 2000s to get the word out. So what PayPal did was they started off by basically paying people like $20 a piece to sign up on the platform to use PayPal. And so they would legit give you $20 just for signing up. And then they scaled it out, scaled down to $5 and then eventually nothing once it had millions of users. But like their first month, they ended up getting 100,000 users. Like crazy.
Yeah.
So basically, that's kind of where this airdrop idea came from. At least that's my theory, because it's very similar, and PayPal is electronic money, so it's a cool similarity. But basically, what they do is, let's say a project is built on top of the Ethereum blockchain.
Let's use an example. We can say Oh My's Go because they did the airdrops. So.
Yeah. So basically, they have a target audience, right? Like they know that they're going to try and get users that are already on top of and part of the blockchain that they're built on top of. So it's a very smart way of focusing their attention on those users to get their attention about their particular project. Because there's so many tokens out there on a given blockchain. I mean, it's hard to keep track of them all. So one way to do it is, hey, if you have this wallet, we're going to throw you some money. And it's not like they're just nice guys. It's a really smart way of getting the word out.
Well, because it's a built-in community right there.
Exactly.
It's like we've talked about with CryptoFizz. I mean, we'll spill some guts here. There's different things that we do, but CryptoFizz, some of our best marketing for our site is write an article about a coin, posting it in that Reddit because that's a target market right there.
Yeah, it's just the way you do it. You focus your attention on the people that care. So yeah, I mean, so airdrops are really popular for that reason. So in the article, we kind of go through just basically what an airdrop is. We kind of highlight a couple of them that are happening this month. So 3 of them are Gala, CPS, which we touched on in an article called CPS Coin, Syscoin's first airdrop.
Yeah, we need to talk a little bit about that one right there because that got retweeted by Blockchain Foundry, Syscoin.
Bajillion times.
How many retweets did we get on that?
Honestly, the retweets weren't as insane as other times, but the traffic from it was bonkers. And then the third one was EOS.
But on EOS basically, so that was a little bit different than the CPS though, isn't it? Because in your article it's spelled out as CPS. So CPS, you're going to get the coin payments token for being a holder of Syscoin. But on the flip side, for EOS, if you're a holder of EOS, you're going to get the EOS DAC token, right?
Yeah, I mean, so that's a good point, right? There are different ways of doing it. So in the EOS scenario, you have to have a certain amount to actually basically have a chance of receiving anything. So for EOS, you have to have at least 100 EOS to be able to receive anything. And so something else to point out too is with these airdrops, essentially there's always kind of this ratio that's built in. This isn't always, but it's just pretty common at this point is, so if you have, say, 1 ETH, then they're going to give you a certain amount per that 1 ETH. Say it's 5 ohms go per that 1 ETH, and it'll play out. So if you have 5 ETH, then you'll get 25 ohms go. So there's a lot of different variations using the airdrop model, but yeah.
Actually,
yeah,
so I actually should be receiving soon. It wasn't in your article because this one already took the snapshot. So actually, let's talk a little bit about that. But was ONT on the Neo network. So actually diving a little bit into that is what they do is so you have to hold a certain amount of coins. So like an example, I'll use the CPS here for Syscoin. So if you based on how many coins that you hold in Syscoin, CPS is going to give out 6% of their total coin supply to those Syscoin holders. Now it's based on how many coins you hold. And what they do is they say either at a block number or on a particular date, they're going to do a snapshot of the network. So for instance, for Syscoin there, on June 1st, they're going to do a snapshot of the Syscoin network, and they'll know who was holding coins at that time. And then based on who was holding coins at that time, we'll then get a percentage of that 6% based on how many Syscoin they were holding.
Right.
Essentially.
And something else to kind of bring it full circle. So CPS is kind of doing 2 things, right? They're doing, one, an airdrop, but then they're also giving you 25 CPS coins if you refer a friend to their platform, the coin payments platform. So it's actually 2 separate things happening under that, CPS coin airdrop umbrella.
So that's one of the, I don't see that too often though. Usually it's just a snapshot of one time. This is kind of something new that CPS is doing there with that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been around for, what is it?
Since like 2014, I think.
Yeah.
They've been around a long time. And they're basically like the premier like merchant payment software.
For crypto. So
for crypto, correct.
Let's break that down. So I don't know what you all might have heard of out there, but let's say Stripe or Square or, GoPayment or, various different merchant processors that can process credit cards on websites. Mm-hmm. That's what Coin Payments does, except they do it for crypto. And I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, but they accept over 100 different cryptocurrencies through their software, right?
Yeah, they accept the most. They've been doing it the longest, and they accept the most. I believe it's over 125. And they have various plugins for like WooCommerce, OpenCart, Magento. Um, so they're a big deal. They're a big player in the market.
And the other cool thing on top of that is that this is essentially the first coin that's going to be the first. You can't really call it an ICO, but it's an ICO in a way on the Syscoin network as well.
Hmm.
So I think that, what's your take on, it being so, for instance, in the US here, you're not allowed to invest in ICOs, initial coin offerings, for people that haven't listened, but
Yeah.
you can airdrop them and kind of skate around that, it sounds, but because you're not selling them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's an interesting debate too, right? Because it seems like every agency is trying to get a piece of the pie here. So I don't know. It's still like a gray area, right? It's like 50 Shades of Gray. So I don't
Not,
know.
it's probably at the 50 Shades Darker part at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm gonna hold on to whatever I get and do what I'm told. I'm not gonna try and, uh, dodge the law or anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I
let's
don't know.
level set that a little bit there, because we say this on every episode. We're just a couple of guys. We're a team that talks about this. We're not financial advisors, but one thing of note, that from everything that I've read, it's not like it's just free money, because technically you are supposed to pay capital gains taxes if you're in the U.S. on these free tokens, because they are transferring wealth over to you. But yeah, so watch out for that. Pay your CPA or whoever to help you do this the correct way, and use. I don't care if you've got $100 in crypto or $5 million in crypto. Use the same logic that Mike Novogratz and his team does. They've got a saying in their office that says, "We're too rich to go to prison."
Hmm.
Pay your taxes. You don't want to go to prison.
Exactly. Not worth it.
Not at all. Not at all. You don't want to be Martin Shkreli. That news came out today. He's
Did he
going
get 7 years?
7 years in prison for frauding his investors, defrauding his investors. That's
Good.
not crypto related, but
He deserves it.
yeah. So what else is on the docket? Is there anything else you want to touch on the airdrops that we didn't cover in full?
I mean, I think that's it. I mean, if you want to learn more about, wallets. So yeah, something else, kind of one last thing. Most of the time, you need to have a very particular wallet to receive these coins, because you need to have that private key. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a link in the article to kind of go to various articles where they break that down for you. So that's just a good call out there. You shouldn't be holding your coins on an exchange anyways, for one thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it though for airdrops.
So we'll link the article below in this podcast. The article name is 3 Airdrops We're Watching. That was posted by BC. I'm actually kind of laughing at your little moniker on there, by BC. It's like you're, before God there. Like
Before crypto.
before crypto. Before Coinageddon.
Exactly. You
Exactly.
gotta update that profile.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about has been like the hottest topic for the last week in crypto. And this is the sale of millions upon millions of hundreds of millions of Bitcoin by the bankruptcy attorney for Mt. Gox. So I'm going to let you take this one away, Billy. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, this has kind of crashed or dropped the market down a bit in the last week or so.
Yeah, I mean, people have been freaking out the past couple of days, particularly. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on StockTwits and Twitter, and just trying to get a good feel for how the market's reacting on a given day, just in general. But a lot of people have no idea what's going on. They're confused as to why the market's going down now, because we were pretty bullish for the past, well, before this past week, we were in bullish territory. But yeah, so basically, what's basically happened is like roughly 1.7, $1.9 billion worth of Bitcoin is being dumped on the market. uh, by Mt. Gox trustees. So
Yeah,
there's
and
a
who's this
ton of
guy?
selling pressure.
Let's give everybody his wonderful name that's doing this. This is and I'm gonna butcher it because I'm definitely, I'm American. I don't know Japanese, so I'm just gonna say what it is. But Nobuaki Kobayashi. So I could say Kobayashi because that's like the best hot dog eating contest guy. That's his
Uh-huh.
name, so I know what that looks like. But Nobuaki Kobayashi is the bankruptcy trustee for Mt. Gox. So if you don't know much about Mt. Gox started back in 2010. 2014, they received one of the largest hacks ever. It was, what's the amount here? The amount was, it just says, the article that I'm reading here and that I've read up, it just says the largest hack in history up until the $500 million coin check hack that took place earlier this year. But basically, they got hacked. The people that had money on there didn't receive any funds. The CEO, who is Mark Karpelis, he actually got he pleaded not guilty to basically frauding creditors and stuff like that earlier, but it got hacked. So they took the money that they thought they had lost. They ended up finding like 200,000 Bitcoin. They took it and they stored it with this bankruptcy trustee because they have to pay all these creditors back. And now the funny part about this is, well, it's not funny because I actually feel really bad for these people, but Bitcoin wasn't worth, what was it, like $1,000 or less at the time when that happened, and now it's,
Oh yeah.
even being only at 9K, they're starting to sell this off. So as soon as the bankruptcy trustee is able to pay back the creditors, this CEO that scammed the shit out of people will get whatever's profit on top of that, whatever's
Getting
remaining.
paid.
Still getting paid. Still getting paid. It's crazy.
Like some Wall Street shit.
Exactly. What is this, like Jordan Belfort or something? Like, I mean, is this Wolf of
Exactly.
Wall Street stuff? Like, this is crazy. But the funniest one, we talked about this before, and the funniest tweet that I saw of this, I say funny. I feel bad for saying this, but
Funny how, like a clown?
exactly. But this kind of, it has to make me laugh. This guy had to know he was going to get this type of reaction. I saw this tweet on Twitter. It says, for this guy, Eric Wall, says, so let me get this straight. I lose my BTC at Mt. Gox in 2014. I slowly trade my way back from nothing, staring at the charts every day for 4 years. Finally reach back to where I was. I go long on BitMEX. And then the Mt. Gox trustee wrecks my long by dumping my own goddamn coins on me.
It's so ridiculous.
It is. It is. It's, oh.
Well,
So,
and like just like a little side note, wasn't Mt. Gox formerly like a Magic the Gathering website?
yeah, it was
Like
like
that's like
trading cards or
in,
something.
like Mt. Gox is like Magic the Gathering something 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 exchange.
Ox. Ox.
Magic the Gathering. Ox.
You can tell we did our research on the history about Gox here, but
Irrelevant.
exactly, exactly. But I mean,
Yeah, I just
this is crazy. This is
hmm
crazy. What can happen? I mean, but the big thing about this is, in all seriousness, this bankruptcy trustee should not be a complete idiot and should realize that when you're dumping those amount of coins, you don't just drop them on the exchange like that because you're going to crash the market. You're going to put a dent in the
yeah.
market.
Yeah, I mean it's just a speed bump. I mean, real in the grand scheme of things, but still, it's like, come on, man, have some consideration.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what you would do is if you see, like, if you're in the US, when they actually just saw an article about this the other day, but when the government recovers Bitcoin from some like sleazy drug dealer or something like that, or however they get it, they
Hmm
sell it at auction. You don't sell it
Yeah,
on the open market in a large dump like that.
yeah. I mean, if you have strong hands, this is just one of those moments where you just buy more. Like this isn't anything to be worried about. It's going to go back up. Either you believe or you don't. You know,
Oh, Billy, my
like
wife looked
I.
at me today and she said, what's going on with she had no, she doesn't follow the price or anything like that. But I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's dropped a little bit in the last couple of days or whatever. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, It's just you just have to hold through these times. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin was like $1,200 a few years ago, and then it dropped to like $50. Everybody that sold out realized that loss at the time. But if they would have held,
Yeah.
look where it's at today.
Well, it's funny. I saw a chart the other day, and this kind of brings it back to the Mt. Gox thing. So it was a chart where it kind of gave you this side-by-side comparison, or if you spanned out large enough to see the time scale, you could see the little spike from that Mt. Gox time period where Bitcoin shot up from like $1 to 1,200 in like a year. I mean, at the time, it was a monster spike, parabolic, and just bounced off the moon. But then you look at the rest of the time period and look at that spike, like what just happened this past year, compared to that Mt. Gox spike, and it was like a little pebble. I mean, you could barely even see the ripple in the line.
You're talking about back then compared to the past year?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like this little, market fluctuation means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. I mean, you're seeing, a drop all over the place. I've seen Neo's gone down. It's like under, it's dropped to under $100 or something right now, hasn't it? But they had some issues last week as well. But our advice, being a non-financial advisor's advice, is hold. Seriously, hold.
Yeah. But it's like I said, it's either you believe or you don't. And if you do, this is easy. You just keep holding, you keep buying, rebalance your portfolio, find stuff you like that's on sale, drink a beer, whatever.
Or
life goes on.
Get prepared for master nodes on March 31st for Syscoin. like
that too.
Like we are.
Exactly. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. It's been a long time coming. We've been holding strong.
Yes. So, anything on top of your mind for the rest of this, or can we let these good people go from our podcast today?
I think I'm going to call it, man.
Yeah, me too. It's Friday night. We were supposed to do this on Monday, but we were delayed, so.
Hey, it's been busy.
Yeah. We're going to have another one coming out on Monday, though, guys. We're going to get back to our regular cadence next week. We'll have one coming out on Monday. And then we should be having a podcast come out with the Smart Tailor app, but they have yet to respond to my email for actually picking the time, even though we've been in good communication back and forth. So we'll see what happens.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy. Yes. Okay. Have a good Friday night. Bye, people.
Even my son told me about the dip. Ain't talking about what you put on potato chips. Even my son told me about the dip. Ain't talking about what you put on potato chips. I buy the dip, dipping. I buy the dip, dipping. I buy the dip, dipping.